Hi guys, welcome to the June 2024 edition of What's Up Wednesday. My name is Brittany McAllister. Ow. I am here in Omaha, Nebraska. I am a licensed realtor and we do these videos once a month now to talk about what's going on in the Omaha real estate market. So Liv and I were just saying we wanted to say hi to all of our new viewers in this last month. We had our video from last month had way more viewers than the month before. So we appreciate you guys watching these videos and just, I guess educating yourself on what's going on in the Omaha market. Of course, I should say first and foremost, if you ever have any questions or you watch these videos and want more answers or are curious about what's going on, definitely reach out. I'm sure our info is somewhere so you can find it and reach out to us. So let's jump right in. It's kind of fun now that we're doing What's Up Wednesday monthly versus weekly to see like how big of a change there, has been in the months. And it's interesting because, when we were doing the numbers week over week, sometimes it was, I don't want to say redundant, but it's hard to see the trends week over week. And now that we're looking month over month, it's a lot easier to be like, oh, wow, like this is what's happening now. And you can actually see it because we're looking over a longer period of time. Today I was really interested and it was almost like validating to look at these numbers because the market here in Omaha is changing. It's changing a little bit. It's finally kind of hitting us here in Omaha where there's more inventory. And we really truly haven't felt that for a while. And now that it's happening, I feel like it happened quickly and just in this last month. And so I don't know if it was just, school's out and everyone lists their house, which is usually a good time, not that it's a bad time, but it's usually a really good time to list. And I think everyone had the same idea. Everyone was ready to list their house about the same time. So it was interesting. There was actually about 150 more houses for sale on the market, single family in Douglas and Sarpy counties right now today than there were this time last month. And so what does that mean? It just means there's more options for buyers, first of all, to have 150 more existing homes for sale. That's a lot of houses, of course, across all the price points, but still that's a lot of houses now that buyers aren't having to make decisions as quickly. I know on the existing homes that we have listed, the feedback is, yes, it looks really nice, or, they're just getting started, or we're just kind of feeling what's out there. Even the ones that like it, the messages that we get are, they're going to sleep on it. Like that message I haven't gotten in like 3 or 4 years. Like there were times or years, I would say, that buyers didn't get to sleep on it. If you like the house right now, you need to make an offer right now, regardless if that was like 6 a.m. or 11 p.m. And so it's been really cool, or not cool, but I guess interesting to see how buyer activity and just motivation has changed now that there's more houses available and for them to choose from. So when we looked in May, it was kind of like the middle of May that we did our What's Up Wednesday video. We looked at a seven-day period and there were 247 pendings. And today, in the last week, there were 191 pendings. So even if you look at that, there's 150 more houses. There's 60 less pendings. So we're seeing inventory rise and we're seeing it stay a little bit longer. And so that kind of leads right into the NOTAM question that Liv and I picked for today, which is, are we still in a seller's market? Another way to phrase that is, because I've gotten this from a lot of people, like, is now a good time to sell? Is now a good time to buy? I think the word good just depends on your situation. If you have to move, you're getting relocated for work, you are in a situation where you absolutely need more space or you definitely need less space, like your finances have changed and what you're currently in doesn't make sense anymore. Like there's so many different scenarios that it makes, is it a good time, almost irrelevant to like an entire market. It's more about what your personal situation looks like. And if we just kind of take like a 10,000 foot view, yes, we're still technically in a seller's market. It's just a different seller's market than it was in 2020, 2021, 2022. In this version of the seller's market, we're kind of heading toward more of a balanced market. And so, we're not necessarily, there still are multiple offer situations in some cases, and we're not necessarily seeing that 6 hours on the market, your house goes under contract. There are in some cases, but the overall majority, I would say, in the sense, like just from talking to other agents and talking to, just people in our industry right now, is that it got a little wonky. Like we're seeing, houses that should have or would have sold overnight, a few years ago are sitting, and the views online are still showing that there's a lot of traffic, but the in-person showings have dropped off. And so it's interesting to me, that shows me that people are kind of like out there, they're looking online, but they're not coming in person. And so is that they're kind of sitting on the sidelines, they're getting ready to buy, they're, waiting until rates drop. I think it's a very interesting time of year, being that we're, obviously it's an election year. And so I think there are a good chunk of people that are, let's see what happens, or let's see what rates do, or, we're not in a super hurry, so it doesn't really matter. And so I think sellers are just having to combat some of that a little bit right now of, what is going to motivate a buyer. And I actually saw one of my friends out of North Carolina, she posted a video this morning, and I was like, that's honestly very true. It's an expensive time to buy a house. Everything's expensive. Rates have gone up, of course, we know that. Insurance has gone up, especially in Nebraska with all these crazy storms we're having. And so, if the interest rate is higher and the home insurance is higher, and then the house itself is higher, those are the three things that make up your monthly payment. So if all of those things are higher, it's just a more expensive time to be in a home. Absolutely does not mean it's a bad time to buy a house. It just means that it's more expensive. And so a lot of times when I'm working with sellers and we're talking through all those things, it's really important to put ourselves in the shoes of the buyer to help us understand, okay, where are they coming from? Okay, well, now their payment for your house at this price, instead of being X, is now Y, and that's about X amount more per month. And so, it's just kind of looking at things from a different perspective. So overall, it's still a great time to buy or sell, depending on, what your situation is and why there's a lot of deals going around, which I think it's been a minute since we've seen anything like that. And just because a buyer is getting a deal doesn't mean a seller is having a terrible time. The sellers they still have equity. Sellers have still built an incredible amount of equity over the last, 3 to 5 years. And so you're still going to be able to cash in on that when you sell your house. It's just a matter of, timeline. And then the other thing I think that kind of feeds into, is it a seller's market or is now a good time to sell, is because there's more options, buyers are getting to be a little bit more picky, which they were not before. So we're seeing home inspections again. We're seeing, that buyers maybe don't want to pick or don't want to fix things. They want true move-in ready, not let me pay the absolute high for this house and have to move in and do a bunch of work. That's not the case anymore. And so, in years past, I may have told a seller, oh, don't worry about touching that up, or don't worry about doing that. Whereas now we might be like, yeah, actually, let's go ahead and paint, or let's go ahead and do a carpet allowance, or let's price the house accordingly, because ultimately the number one lever, that sells a house is price. And so at the end of the day, if you're not getting showings or we're not getting offers, it comes down to price. And that's the only true lever that we can control. And so that's something that has just been really interesting, I would say, over the last month, is just watching all of the price reduction emails come across. When we're pricing a home, we're usually looking in our rear view mirror to decide what we think is a good price. We always go back 6 months. And the market we're in today is not the market we were in 6 months ago. And so I think when it comes to a pricing strategy, it's really important that we're considering that. And that was a really long soapbox about pricing. Okay, so that's a long answer to the no dumb question of, is now a good time? I think obviously yes, and obviously I'm really passionate about talking about pricing and all of those things. So if you heard something in there that you agree with or don't agree with or are curious about, reach out, because I think it's a really interesting conversation. And I think as we get into our July What's Up Wednesday, I'll be very curious to see what those numbers look like, compared to June, and then even compared to May. So we'll just keep keeping an eye on it. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up is our event. So Liv has been working tirelessly on this summer event that we are so excited about. It is there's no such thing as a first annual. It is the inaugural Sundown on Summer event. And so it's kind of our own spin on a little mini farmer's market, if you will. We're doing it right outside in our parking lot. Sundown on Summer. It's kind of a last small business kind of kickoff to the school year. We have some incredible Omaha, local small businesses that are going to be here, and some food trucks. It's going to be awesome. So we've got a permanent jewelry. We've got Hello Ruby, who has her mobile boutique. We have a coffee truck. Some others that we're working on. But if you're watching this and it's prior to August and you're curious about having a vendor, or of a vendor that should be there, or you are a vendor that should be here, reach out to us. We would love to have you, and we are still looking for a few more. So really excited about that event. Keep an eye on all of our socials for that. And that's it. So I just said to Liv, there's no way I can talk for 10 minutes, and here we are, 11 minutes in. So that's our What's Up Wednesday for June. I hope you guys are having an incredible summer. Stay cool, and we will see you in July.